In this video, I'm going to share with you guys how I'm able to play Call of Duty Warzone with only one hand. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So what's going on, ladies and gents? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today we are once again back on Call of Duty Warzone, and I wanted to make a video that's a little bit different from the stuff that you're used to seeing on this channel. I get questions all the time and a ton of comments asking about what's up with the one hand, how do you play, is this real? And I wanted to make a video dedicated to that topic. I have a video on my channel. It's actually my channel trailer from about a year ago where I talk about being born with one hand and kind of like what I was growing up and how I did everything. And I wanted to make a video going in depth with Call of Duty because that's the main question. How do you play? And so today I'm going to share with you guys exactly how I'm able to play and really what's going on. So first things first, I've been playing Call of Duty for a very long time, starting with Call of Duty 3 back when I was basically a child. Call of Duty 4 was the very first game that I played multiplayer on. I fell in love and I've been playing this nonstop ever since. I've been off and on with Call of Duty over the last couple of years based on how bad the games have been. And I have not been a fan of a lot of the games recently, like Ghost, Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, even World War II. But here with the new 2019 Modern Warfare game, I've been really into it and been having a lot of fun and pretty much playing every day, making a lot of videos for you guys. And it's just been awesome. I've been having so much fun on this thing. But essentially playing with one hand, it really hasn't been a struggle for me. It's been my way of life, right? So it would be completely different if I was in an accident, a car accident, or somehow I ended up losing my arm. It would obviously be a lot different because then I would have to adapt to this new lifestyle, right? It would be completely different. However, I was born with one hand, so it was very easy for me to just pick up gaming and learn how to do it the way that I do it. It would essentially be the same way that you guys pick up a controller and learn how to do it with two hands. Now, fortunately for me, it's the left hand that I don't have. Now, if you guys look at the Xbox controller, you will see that the right side of the controller is where all of the buttons are, where all of the main buttons on the controller are. So it would be much more challenging if it wasn't a right hand that I had. So fortunately, I do have the right hand. So as you guys can see in the gameplay here, the way that I hold the controller is I use the right hand to do everything on the right side, just like everyone else. It's pretty easy to do that. Nothing really different than what you do. In the left side of the controller, I use my left elbow to use the left thumbstick. So the left thumbstick obviously makes you move around. That is what I use to do that. So I use my elbow to do that. And then I end up using the top of my leg to aim down sight with weapons. So this is where it gets kind of difficult for me to play a lot of other consoles. This is mainly why I've been on Xbox for so long. With the PlayStation controller, there's not really a trigger. The button's more on the top left, and it's much more challenging for me to aim down sight. So with the Xbox controller, I can literally just push it down against my leg, and I'm able to ADS pretty easily. What I have to do when I play is I sit down, and I have this stool type thing in front of me. You guys can see in the top left in the gameplay, you'll see that my legs are up. I put my feet up on a stool so that I can bring my leg a little bit closer to my body, and that allows me to just kind of rest the controller right there and be able to just push the controller down. I don't really bring my leg up, I just push the controller into my leg and I'm able to ADS. It's weird because when I watch it back on camera like this, it just seems so abnormal and weird, but because I'm so used to it and don't think about it, it's all just muscle memory. It's just the way I'm used to playing. When it comes to just sitting in a chair, if I were to play competitive Call of Duty, I would probably not be able to do it. It would take a lot of time for me to learn how to play just sitting with my feet on the ground. But nonetheless, it's a really cool way that I'm able to do that. One of the big questions is how do you throw a stun grenade or a smoke grenade, which is the left bumper. So you guys might see in this gameplay, essentially what you're watching right now is just a bunch of clips that I compiled of me playing Warzone just to give you an idea of how I play. It's nothing special, just me running around and playing, getting a few kills. But you might see it in the gameplay. The way I throw a stun is I will bring my elbow up really quick and I'll just hit the button really fast and then go back down to the left thumbstick. It's pretty much impossible for me to use my leg to do that. I would have to flip the controller completely upwards, and at that point I would just end up aiming down sight and then throwing a stun. So it wouldn't be worth it, but I'm able to do it with my elbow pretty quickly, And again, that's just another thing that watching in the gameplay just looks so weird, but because I'm so used to doing it, it's just so normal for me. But that is how I hit the left bumper. When it comes to the select button on the left side, I just hit it with my thumb. And then the bottom left D-pad, I just use my elbow as well. Now, you don't generally have to use the D-pad for a lot of stuff. In Warzone, generally, I believe you use the D-pad to point players out, to mark items and locations. And I think you can even drop money. I think that's how you drop stuff in the game. So that is what I will do. I just use my elbow for pretty much everything on the left side of the controller except the trigger, which I use my leg to aim down sight. Now, like I said, I've just been doing this for so long, it really hasn't changed for me. I've tried a couple different play styles out. I've had a lot of people give me different recommendations and ask if I should get a new controller. Should I try to get a one-handed controller? And I'm just so used to playing normally with a regular controller and the way that I play that I really don't want to adjust that. I don't want to change the way that I do that because I feel so comfortable with using a regular controller and just playing that like that. I have had companies, which is really cool, reach out to me and say, hey, we've created this controller that we want you to test out. Now, I haven't tested out any of these controllers yet. I had one company come to me and say, hey, we've got this cool controller where you actually use your feet for some of the buttons. You should try it out. And I never really got back with them because I thought that was going to be a little bit more challenging for me. Obviously, I have half of an arm, so I've never really had to use my feet any extra. So it just seems really weird to me to be able to control a character on a video game with my feet. But like I'm saying, basically, I just got a lot of really cool controller people coming to me asking if I want to try out their new product. But I'm sure in the future we'll have all kinds of different stuff to try out. One of the big questions that I get is, why wouldn't you get a prosthetic arm? You could just get a prosthetic arm and be a god. First of all, the thing with the prosthetic arms is that it would still be very, very difficult to play Xbox. I don't think they're quite as advanced yet to the point where I can have that super fast snap from my head to the electronic to push a button or to make something move. It's still pretty slow. I know that we've had pretty crazy advancements, but when it comes to video games, you make split-second decisions with your fingers, and your brain is telling your fingers what to do. You're not even thinking about it. It's just muscle memory, and I'm not sure with a prosthetic that I'd be able to do that. I'm not sure with a prosthetic if I'd even be able to hold a controller. The other problem with the prosthetic is that they're extremely expensive, and I'm so used to just doing everything with one hand that I almost don't ever want to get a prosthetic. I'm sure that one day later on down the road, I'll make that decision to be like, hey, let's just buy this extremely expensive arm and try it out and see what happens. And heck, dude, maybe even one day in the future, we'll be able to grow body parts, which would be insane. Obviously, we can already do that with random cartilage and stuff, but growing a whole arm, unfortunately, is impossible right now, so I'm waiting that one out a little bit. But a really cool idea. I don't know, a lot of people are always pushing for me to get a prosthetic and try it out, say it would be super cool. And trust me, don't get me wrong, it would be really cool to have a robotic Terminator arm just do some crazy stuff. Maybe if I could shoot some like rockets out of it or whatever, but that is essentially how I'm able to play on the Xbox controller. I've played a lot of other consoles. Believe it or not, Guitar Hero is one of my favorite things to play. I have a Wii, and I play on the Wii with the Guitar Hero. I have a Nintendo Switch, play Animal Crossing on that. But fortunately, it really hasn't been too much of a struggle for me when it came to learning gaming. I get comments all the time of people saying, hey man, it would be so crazy if you had two hands because you'd be an absolute god at Call of Duty. And to be honest with you, I don't even think I would be as good as I am now at COD if I had two hands, because I don't think I would be playing it as much. I think just having one hand and finding out that I was really good at this and had a lot of fun doing this, I just wanted to do it all the time. And that's one of those things that really helped me to fall in love with this, was being like, hey, I have one hand, I can do this just as good as you. And I've always thought about like taking Call of Duty serious, like what if I did competitive? And I'm pretty sure it's next to impossible for me. I'm not on that level. I'd say I'm pretty good at COD, but for me to be able to do that, it's pretty challenging with one hand. There's not a lot that I can't do with one hand, but going pro in Call of Duty might be one of those, because you do have to be pretty quick and be pretty amazing, and I'm not quite that level. But nonetheless, this is basically how I play Call of Duty. I just wanted to share with you guys the quick story and the quick rundown of how I'm able to do that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of these Warzone clips. Again, nothing too fancy. I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of gameplay of just random stuff so you can see kind of how I make the movements and the buttons that I press and how everything works. But If you guys have any questions, I'm sure a lot of you probably still have crazy questions about having one hand and playing Xbox. Please make sure to leave them down in the comment section below. I always enjoy seeing those questions and answering those, and I'll try to get back to as many of them as I possibly can. So leave as many as you want, and I'll try to respond. But that's going to be it for this video. I really do hope that you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.